That today we are dealing with the men, and the men will understand that this gland we are talking about is small and it sits directly below the bladder, where your bladder, your urinary bladder is, and it plays a very important role in producing and also fine-tuning your semen. That's what it does for you. And the prostate has several functions, but the most important is that the prostate helps to produce the seminal fluid. And the seminal fluid is a component in the semen, okay? And it also plays a role in hormone production and also helps to regulate the urine flow. So I've mentioned like 3 things down that it does for you as a man. Is a component of your semen, and we know semen is what fertilizes the egg for a child to be born, and also it plays a role in hormone production, making you a man, making you what you are, making you able to pregnant a woman. Let me use our normal word, okay? All right, and then it also helps with your urine flow. All right, so prostate problems are very, very common with men, especially as we get older. That's why I gave the bottles or the cans to the men who are 40 years and above, because I want to bribe them to promise me something today, that they will make sure that their prostate gland is healthy until they are old. Amen? It's one disease. They are going to be telling us about the different types of diseases that come with it, okay? If you have prostate issue, it's one of the fastest killers of men today. And it's something that can be prevented. It's something that can be handled. But because people don't know about it, a lot of men die out of ignorance. That's why I'm bribing you. That bribe, I don't want you to open it. Hold it very well. So that by the time you drink it and you remember what Mommy Founder said. I want you to promise me today that you're going to make sure you take care of your prostate gland even more than you take care of your car. More than you take care of your properties. Because that's one of the most important gland in your body. One of the most important things that you need to take care of. And the most common of this disease of the prostate gland is enlarged prostate and prostate cancer. In fact, 1 out of every 8 men in America die of prostate issues. In Africa, it's even 1 out of 4. And because many people die, they don't even know what killed them in Africa, Abby. So they can't really pin it. So you can imagine this. Apparently, it's possible it's even more. So symptoms of prostate trouble often appear as difficulty urinating, which might also include poor bladder control or weak urine flow. Okay? So today I'm going to be telling us, I'm going to be very fast. I have just about 1.5 hours, and I think I've spent like 15 minutes sharing fab. So I'm going to be very, very fast, and I'll try not to go into details of medical terms and the rest. But why I want to describe it is so that you as a man will understand what is going on in your body, because it will help you to actually be dedicated and be determined that you will not have prostate issue. Now that prostate gland is a small, like I said, and soft organ. On the average, it's like the size of a walnut. You know the walnuts, asala, okay, that's about the size, okay? And it weighs around 30 grams. And it's usually soft and smooth to touch. And the prostate is positioned deep in the pelvis between your penis and the bladder. So I want the man, imagine yourself. You know, when they were teaching us biology in school, you will be looking at the board without knowing that the thing is right inside your body. That was how they taught us. Well, I'm sure the children of these days are far better than that. By the time I came out of biology class, even in the university, I could not really understand that thing they draw called vagina that I have it in. So, but I want every man to imagine it, okay? That your prostate gland is between your penis and the bladder. And it's even possible to feel the prostate gland by placing your finger into the rectum and then pressing towards the front of the body. Okay, so when we talk about rectum, placing your finger right as if you want to go to your anus, and then you press forward, you'll be able to feel your prostrate gland. Okay, now the urethra, that is the tube that carries your urine, the tube that carries your semen out of your body, passes through the prostrate. So when you want to urinate, that urethra is going through the prostrate. And then also when you're having intercourse and you're discharging, that semen also goes through the prostrate. Because the prostrate surrounds this tube, prostate problems can then affect urine flow. And this organ is one small part of a male sexual and reproductive anatomy, but is very, very powerful. And it determines a lot when they grow older. Alright, so other parts that you can find around there is your penis, your scrotum, and then the testes. Alright, okay, so what does your prostate actually do? Actually, you don't really require the functioning of your prostate to stay alive. But it's very, very important for you during fertility. And that's why the way you treat and the way your prostate gland is handled determines whether some men that are having a fertility problem is because of issues from their prostate. So I'm going to be discussing some of the functions. Okay, number one, it helps to produce semen, and which is the primary function of your prostate. And then it also contributes prostatic fluid to the semen. And then the prostate also contributes 20 to 30% of fluid to your total semen volume. And then the remaining is now from the seminal vesicles and the testicles. Alright, so the prostatic fluid contains components that make semen an ideal substance for sperm cells to live, and also including the enzymes, the zinc, and the citric acid. But one important enzyme is prostate-specific antigen. Prostate-specific antigen. I'm sure a lot of men have heard about PSA. How many of us have heard about PSA? Men, raise your hand. Okay, I'm in trouble today. Only 2 people. I've heard about PSA, which means you have not even gone to do your PSA test. Alright, so the fluid in semen helps the sperm travel down the urethra and then survive the journey towards the egg for fertilization during intercourse and for couples that want to have their baby. And this is very, very essential for production. The prostatic fluid is slightly acidic, but other components of the semen make it alkaline overall. And this is also to counteract the acidity in the vagina and also to protect the sperm from damage. Of course, you know that the vagina of the woman is very, very acidic, and that's why sometimes some women also are not able to, carry babies, because the acid kills the cells once it's fertilized. And also, it also has an issue to do with the gender production, whether you have a male or female. That one will be a teaching of another time. Alright, so also, closing urethra during ejaculation. That's another thing that your prostate gland does for you. It closes the urethra during ejaculation. I'm going to explain this because a lot of us really need to know. During ejaculation, the prostate contracts and then squeezes and prostatic fluid into the urethra. So there, it mixes with sperm cell and fluid from the seminal vesicle to create semen, which is now what is used to fertilize the egg. And then the body expels it. Then when the prostate contracts during ejaculation, it closes off the opening between the bladder and the urethra, pushing semen through at a speed. And that's why men, you will notice that you cannot urinate at the same time, ejaculate at the same time, because it comes finally from the same spot. So one has to happen while the other is not happening. Another thing your prostate gland does for you, number 3, is hormone metabolism. It helps in your hormone metabolism. The prostate needs androgen. Androgen is the male sex hormone, such as testosterone, and then it needs it to function correctly. So that your prostate gland contains an enzyme called 5-alpha reductase, which converts testosterone into a biological active form called dihydrosterone. Don't mind all the big grammar. But in all this big grammar I mentioned is very, very important for the normal prostate development and function. Hormones are chemicals, okay? We also have hormones in our women called estrogen, okay? For us women, that's what differentiates us from the men. And when a woman is getting to that age, 35, 40, 45, 50, we also start having issues with our own hormones. Now that's why you need to actually live well and know what to do so that you won't have issues. Alright, I've already told us the structure of prostate is divided into some zones, which I'm not going to go through with us because the grammar is becoming too much. Alright, so we have, we have the anterior zone, we have the peripheral zone, we have the central zone, and we have the transition zone. Now let's go straight to the cocoa of the matter because I don't want to tell us problem without solution, okay? Now, symptoms of prostate problem briefly. Prostate conditions often cause problems with urination and also your bladder control. That's the first place the issue begins with. So if you're a man here, of course, nobody needs to tell you. You should be able to know when you begin to have issues with your urine control, okay? And this could include poor bladder control. You don't know, you will just find out that you're urinating, or you will just feel pressed within 1 minute. Before you get to the toilet, the thing is already dropping, okay? You're not able to control. And sometimes when you even get there, you'll be waiting. I thought I was pressed and this urine is not coming out, okay? And then again, another issue, that's number one, poor bladder control. The second one is frequent urination. You just finish urinating now, and after a few minutes or a few hours, you are already pressed again to go to use the toilet, to visit the bathroom. Then sometimes, with only a small amount of urine coming out, it will just go tororom and stop. And you will just be wondering, why is this thing doing me like this? And then again, there is also another symptom, which is difficulty starting your urine to flow. You will enter the toilet, you just hold your power, and you're there, nothing is coming out. You stay, or it will take a longer time before it will start coming. And then sometimes stopping and starting the stream while urinating. So it's not only just about stopping and starting. And another issue you will use to know that you're getting older. You find out that when you were younger, like children in primary school, when they want to urinate, they can stay here and the thing will flow all the way to how many miles away, and then it will come. Fabi, you will see the children doing fun with it. Oh yeah, let me see any man that can do that now at over 50. It's not possible again because you have used this system and it's weaker. Okay? So weak and thin urine stream. That's another issue. Prostate problem can also cause problems with your sexual function, okay? You find out you're beginning to have low libido, you're beginning to have quick ejaculation, and some other problems that come with it. That's not what we're dealing with today. But when you notice that as you're growing older, you're not really performing the way you need to perform, then you need to do something about it. Then another issue that may come with it is urinary tract infections. You are now more prone to urinary tract infections. This also happens to us as women by the time we start getting to our perimenopause time. Okay, you're also more prone to urinary tract infection, and that's why you need to be very, very careful about yourself as you're getting older. And if a person is unable to urinate at all, you need to quickly run to the hospital so that your doctors can look at you. Please don't look for one side chemist or whatever. Quickly run to the hospital so they will be able to do a general test for you. And a person should also see their doctors from 45 and above. Go for your normal test. I'm so surprised that many of us here have not been able to go for our first PSA test, actually you should do that from age 40. And at 40, maybe you can, if you're very well and okay, you can do the next one at age 45. Okay? And then every other year. But once you're 55, it should be every year that you go for your test. So another thing you could also have, another symptom is pain while urinating. When you're urinating, you will have pain. Or, you know, some men, after ejaculation, you will just be feeling pain. I know one man that was having that issue, and he was blaming the wife that the wife was a witch. That after having intercourse with her, and he just comes out, he will be having pain. He didn't know he was having issues with his prostate gland, and he was blaming a poor woman where she is. And then sometimes you also have pains in your penis, or pains in your scrotum, or the area between the scrotum and your anus. Those are the symptoms that I'm talking about. Then, when it advances in some advanced stage, you begin to see blood in your urine. And then, severe discomfort in your abdomen. By the time the stages are increasing, you will just find that you will think you're having stomach problem. But it's not stomach problem you're having. It's actually your prostate gland you're having issue with. And then, of course, like I said, a weak urine stream or dribbling at the end of your urinating. When you're urinating, you know, it will just be, it will say, you have finished, you're okay, but you still see the drops still falling off. That means you're having the issue. Sometimes when it has grown, maybe prostatitis or enlarged prostate, you know, that has gone far, or God forbid, cancers, it will come with fever, with chills, with body aches. You know, your body will just be aching you when you have not done anything. All right? And then the inability also for you to empty your bladder completely. That's another symptom that comes with it. You will finish urinating, you know, it's not coming out, but your bladder is still full. And then sometimes, at certain stages, it also comes with unusual odor. And then your urine will be colored. Okay? Prostate cancer is the deadliest. I'm going to be telling us about 3 or 4 diseases that come with it. Prostate cancer is the most common from the cancers in males after skin cancer. It's the highest killer. After skin cancer, it's prostate cancer. Like I told us, in America, 1 in every 8 have prostate cancer. And on the average, people receive, you're supposed to go for your prostate cancer. No PSA. PSA is normal that everybody should do. But prostate cancer test, once you're 65 and above, please make sure you go for a thorough. It's not the one they just do PSA. They are supposed to test you for prostate cancer. In fact, the American Cancer Association states that people can, you know, choose the screening method they want to. But once you reach at that age, because of the age risk, so 65 is a high risk time for prostate cancer. And another high risk for prostate cancer is if your uncle, your mother's brother, your father's brother, or your father or a relation had had prostate cancer, then you must not joke with the screening. The second disease, which is not as bad as the cancer, is this prostatitis. Prostatitis. I don't know where you go. It's very, very common, and it's a swelling or inflammation of the prostate. And it's very, very common also, though not as frequent as even prostate cancer. So, many times it takes some time for it to swell. So you would have already started having those feelings. But they also have the one they call sudden inflammation of the prostate. You just wake up one morning and you find out that you're having this feeling. So they call it acute prostatitis. And it can also occur because of bacterial infection. And sometimes it disappears and clears if you use antibiotics on it. But when prostate inflammation lasts for longer than 3 months, then it's now known as chronic prostatitis or chronic pelvic pain syndrome. Then the third disease that comes with it which is the final one we're going to look at today, is the enlarged prostate. Now, an enlarged prostate is also known as benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH, and is the most common. That's the one that, you know, they don't talk about whether it's coming from your family or it's coming with age. Once you're over 50 years, you need to start going for your PSA test. And when this prostate enlarges, it will now press and pinch your urethra, narrowing the tube. And that's why you have issues with urination. And that narrowing of the urethra will now reduce the ability for you to empty your bladder, and then now cause all these problems I had mentioned before to us that comes with it. So the enlarged prostate makes it difficult for you to urinate, and then it can also prevent urination entirely for some people, and that's when it's called urine retention, which requires urgent medical evaluation. And let me tell us two things we should watch out for. If you're not urinating, run to the hospital as a man. The second thing, or let me just say like three, the second thing is, if you're having diarrhea as a man, men cannot actually bear diarrhea. It can kill in 24-48 hours. Unlike us women, we can bear diarrhea. So you need to seek medical attention if you're having diarrhea as a man. And then the final thing is, if you've not gone to toilet. You know, there are people who have natural means of not going to toilet every day. I call them dustbin. I don't know why you will not go to toilet in a day. It's a serious problem. But if it's natural with you, no problem. But if you suddenly begin to have that issue, you need to quickly go and seek for medical attention. Now, the test you should do, you know, the medical professionals will diagnose problem using some of these tests that I'll mention. The first one is digital rectal examination. During this exam, the doctor will insert his finger into your rectum and then feel the prostate to detect lumps, nodules, and signs of cancer. That's one of the simplest ones. They do it. I see them do it every day. And I make sure that he goes for his tests. I remind him, and thank God he's very, very okay. All right. The second one is the PSA, okay, which is prostate-specific antigen. This one, they will take your blood and then they will assess the level of your PSA. High level indicates an increased risk of prostate cancer. I'm going to be reading out the figures to you very soon. And then the third test is prostate biopsy. And this, the doctors, if they now suspect cancer after using their finger, they will now send you for the biopsy. And then another one is ultrasound. Another one is MRI. If they now feel a high percentage that is like cancer, then they will send you to ultrasound or MRI tests. Okay, so those are what happens. Now, usually there is no specific normal or abnormal level of PSA in the blood. But in past, they say that levels that are 4.0 ng/ml and lower are considered to be normal. But recently they found out that sometimes people have very normal PSA and then they are still diagnosed of prostate cancer. So that's why it's very, very important for you to make sure you seek medical attention. Don't just stop with your PSA. So if you're a man and you're 50 years and above, if you can afford it, go for thorough medical tests every year. If you can't afford it, do it every other year. It will help you. So, like the PSA test results, 0.0 to 2.5 ng/ml is considered to be safe, all things being equal. 2.6 to 4 is also safe for most men, but you need to talk to your doctor if it's going higher at that moment. And then also, when it goes to like 4 to 10, it's suspicious and might suggest the possibility of prostate cancer for such people. So, well, since many of us have not done this test, what you're going to promise me is that you're going to go for your test. Hello, how many men? Wait, Pastor David. How many men will go for test from today if you're 40 years and above? Please, I want to see your hand. Some are folding their hands together because they're not up to 40. You collected my fab. That's how I've used to find you out now. Those ones that did not raise their hand, they collected my fab when they are more than 40 now. All right, so actually we need to be very, very careful at black men, because they did some studies and they found out that population-based studies revealed that black men, African men, have higher serum prostate-specific antigen value than white men. All right, so all those value varies. But if you are an African, I've already read, if you're 40 to 49 years, your PSA reading should be between 0 to 2.0. And if you're 50 to 59 years, your PSA reading should be between 0 to 4.0. That's the highest it should be for you to know you're still okay. And if you're 60 to 69 years, it should be between 0 to 4.5. And 70 to 79, it should be between 0 to 5.5. So note your reading and know what to do about that. But let's remember that PSA level under 4 ng/ml are generally considered normal, okay? And know what to do about it. So now we are going to the cocoa of the matter, where I need our mommies, where I need our children, because you're the one making the food for daddy. We are going to look at some natural remedies to prevent prostate issues and make sure your prostate health is good. All right, so I'm going to run through it. And the first thing you should consider as men is decaffeinated green tea. Anytime you're taking your meal, go and look for a good green tea to take, okay? And use it as your meal. And if you don't have any, you meet Sister Nike. We have one very fantastic one that combines a lot of greens, you know, and blossoms of tea. She will give you. I didn't come with that one. Then exercise is very, very important. Now let me ask the men, you know, it's a practical section. This week, today is what? If you have done exercise today, I don't mean your normal activities, or you come here and dance and say it's exercise. If you have done exercise this week, stand up. This week. If it's my children, when they were young, they will say, tell the truth and let the devil be ashamed. Okay, so these people standing have done exercise this week. Let's clap for them. You can sit down, stars. So wives, encourage your husband to do exercise, okay? And children, encourage daddy to do exercise. Exercise and losing weight are some of the best things you can do to promote your prostate health. Because many studies show that moderate or vigorous exercise reduce the risk of your BPH and your urinary tract symptoms. And it also helps with prostatitis as well. So even if you're already having prostate, enlarged prostate, or having prostatitis issue, do exercise. And then for those who have already started doing the exercise, do me a favor, add Kegel exercises. You can write it down. Kegel exercise. Yes, K-E-G-E-L. Kegel exercise is meant for men and women, but mainly for men for their prostate, and for women who are having libido issues. Try it, it works, especially when you are in the act. Google it, sir. You want me to start showing you Kegel exercise? All right, exercise also benefits your cardiovascular health, and also can prevent other health and sexual problems such as erectile dysfunction. Let me tell you, if you're a woman, like I said, and you're having issues with libido and you've not reached orgasm for some time, try Kegel exercise. It will help you. And then also for men, it will help you with ejaculation also. Don't worry, if only I was there with men, I would have shown you. So then if you're overweight, losing weight is one of the most important natural changes that you can make to improve your prostate health. Whether it's prostate cancer, whether it's enlarged prostate, whether it's prostatitis, whichever one it is. Then another thing you need to do is to follow a prostate-friendly diet. There are many prostate-friendly diets that can help prevent cancer and also slow down the growth of your prostate stress cells and the cancerous cells. Some of the best foods for prostate health include oily fish that are high in omega-3 oil, like salmon, tuna, mackerel. calamari, they are very, very good. You will say I'm speaking grammar. They are here in Nigeria. Mackerel is everywhere now. And then also vegetables, green leafy vegetables, food that are high in healthy fats like avocado. When avocado is in season, make it part of the fruits you take. Nuts and olives are also very, very good, and olives and nuts are good for you. The foods that fight prostate cancer are like mushrooms, tomatoes, pomegranate juice, and walnuts. You know, the thing looks like walnut. So if you take walnut, it welcomes it. Yes. And then they did a study and found out that in the areas where they have lower prostate cancer issues and prostate issues, that they have something in common. And I'll tell you 5 things they have in common so that you can imbibe that into your whole lifestyle. Okay? Their diets are the same. And the diet contains some of these things I have mentioned. And then they eat fish-based and plant-based protein more than animal-based protein. Fish. Once you're 40 years and above, turn to fish. It's very, very good for you. Then number 3, they do not eat lots of sugar and processed food. Those people. I don't know why an adult up to 40 years should still be taking sugar. I don't know why. I think I've taken sugar once this year. I just told myself, let me taste how sugar tastes. Because throughout last year, I don't remember taking it. So I tasted it to see how it tastes. Then number 4, the best diet for prostate health is one that is low in sugar, low in processed food, and low in saturated fat. In fact, there's something me and Daddy practices all the time. We say the 3 evil S's: salt, sugar, saturated fat. So we try not to go near them. Salt, sugar, and saturated fat. So if you're using salt, it's just enough to make the food to come out tasty. Not the one that you will now, after they finish cooking, you will carry salt and still be putting on top. Then again, you can study Mediterranean diets, okay? Especially the young ones. And try out some of those, their diets for daddies and mommy, okay? That's the lifestyle that can help. And then, time will not permit me. But 50% of men over 50 years have enlarged prostate or benign prostatic hyperplasia, like I said. And by the age of 80, nearly 90% of men will live with enlarged prostate. I know that when I joined my company, the first thing I did was to buy the prostrate supplement for my father. And as long as he lived 6 years that I was in that company, I made sure I sent it to my father every month. And that's how his reading became better and better. They were even thinking that his prostrate that will kill him. It didn't kill him. So you need to do something now and today about your prostrate. The good news is that diet rich in certain vitamins and minerals can keep your prostate healthy and lower the risk of your having enlarged prostate. So like I said, go away from overweight. If you're overweight, reduce your weight. And then you need to make some nutritious food choices that can help your prostate. And I'll run through, you can write down, so you can seek for these things and add them in your shopping list when you go to shop. Sesame seed and sesame oil, very, very good for prostate. Salmon, mackerel, trout, and mackerel, trout, salmon, and whatever, calamari, very, very good for you. Bell peppers. Peppers are good, especially those ones that are not very hot. They are very good. And then tomatoes. Tomatoes are very, very rich in lycopene because of the bright carotenoid, which gives that plant that red color. And lycopene lowers the risk of developing prostate cancer, especially in men, and also lowers the risk of enlarged prostate. Also watermelon. Watermelon is good. Apricots are good. Pink grapefruits are good. Pawpaw is also very good. Like I've mentioned before, avocados are good. Wheat germ are good. Soybeans are good. Pecans are good. Pumpkin seeds are good. because these are rich in beta-sitosterol that also helps in prevention. Also, vegetables of all sorts. We have a lot of vegetables in Nigeria. Tete, ewedu, shoko, ogo, all of them very, very good. And remember, let me just chip in this. I said it yesterday, but let me hammer it again. If you're 40, 50 and above, please, your food portion should be 50% of vegetables, 25% of carbohydrates, and 25% of good protein. If possible, plant-based protein, if not fish. That morning, I know meat is sweet, make it once a week now. You can go with chicken that you've skinned. You remove the skin, but make meat once a week, please. Let's take more of these things. Onions, garlic, ginger, and all the rest are also very, very good. All those spices are very good for us. And then you can also take your soy milk, okay, and you can use your soybeans to make soy meat. I know that when they were doing structural adjustment program in those days, I was one of those people that used to make soya meat to sell. Those things are very, very good. They call them tampa, and they are very, very good. You know, you can do your soy yogurt, roasted soybeans, cooked soybeans. You know, you just use it. It's very, very good for you. And again, another thing that will help you, because sometimes you are not able to get through to get all these things and get them in the right quantity. Am I right? Especially for us women. In fact, I had a friend that had to hire a dietitian in her kitchen. And in those days, we were having meetings, you know, frequently. She would come with one full bag like that, with something they have finished measuring. She would tell me, this one contains that. I said, is this what you will go through? Every day when we stay for some hours, she will watch her clock, bring out something and eat. Because when she met the dietitian, she ran some test tube results to find out what her body needs and the kind of diet that she will need, and drew that program for her. I told her that is complete bondage. Okay? Because, yeah, it will be okay for some time, but I asked her, when you travel to America, are you going to travel with that woman to cook for you? No. And that's why science has brought out what we call supplements. Supplementation, like I told us yesterday, is a must. All this food I have talked about are embedded in some of the supplements that I have here with me, which if you are interested, you can get, but after now, you meet Sister Nike, because she also has them. Because you can send me a message, I will not answer you for some time, but at least you will be able to. Now, the supplement that even if you can't afford anything, you should get it is Vitalized Men. Now, this Vitalized Men has all the things I have mentioned, and my company manufactured it like 40 years ago. My company is 44 years old this year. They manufactured this product and they've been improving on it every year. And I personally have used it in some men who had enlarged prostate, and it works in stopping the growth and gradually reversing. I said gradually reversing. So that you will not take it once and say, Mommy, it found out light to you. Now, it gradually reverses if you keep to other lifestyles that I have mentioned. Eating your normal food and taking it. But I assure you, all things being equal, God on your side is very, very good for prevention. Stanike, you will help me. I've forgotten how much the price is. We will give it to them how much I bought it. Yes, help me check assistant supervisor. That's how much I bought it. That's what I'll give it to. Here, after that, she won't give you like that too, because who goes to market without making profit? Do you sell your battery, Brother Sylvester, without making profit? So what you buy here is what she is buying. So if you contact Sister Nike after now, she's going to add her own money to sell to you. But I just came. You see that I dash you 3,000 you're holding in your hand. It's not that I can't dash this, but I don't dash supplements. I don't, because when you dash people, they don't eat it. They don't use it, and it doesn't impact them. So men, you can open your fab now and promise me you will take care of your prostrate. You can go ahead and drink your fab. So why did I give you fab? I gave you fab because Prostrate also, like I said, helps with your sexual life. And if a man does not satisfy himself sexually, or his partner, the wife, sexually, that's one of the major things that brings problem in the house. Am I right? Am I hearing the women? Okay, if you're a man here and you do not satisfy yourself sexually when you are having intercourse with your wife, are you happy? Because you know, one of the primary things in your mind is that when you two you're reaching orgasm, your wife should reach orgasm, isn't it? Alright, so Vitalized Men will help to prevent prostrate issues. And then also we also help you on in the other room. And then if peradventure you cannot afford Vitalized Men, you can make do with B-polling. It's cheaper, even though Vitalized Men is more powerful. But you can still make do with B-polling, or you can combine the two. They are very good. Yes, they work, they do other things. B-polling will give you that energy you need and other things that you need. Then for you husband, I also beg you, when you buy your own, buy Vitalized Women for your wife. It's very, very good. It's anti-aging. It makes her look younger. Makes her also perform well a bit on the other side. But another thing, if you're a man here and you're having weak ejaculation and the things like that, you need marker. You can go and study marker. This is multi-marker. If you go to my supplement list, I don't do without this. It's there. Because it's also anti-aging. It helps you maintain your youngish look. For us women, you still want your breasts to stand and things like that and look nice. So that when daddy's, in the other room, things are moving well. And then generally speaking, one last thing, everybody, both young and small, needs aloe vera gel. Aloe vera is a natural antioxidant, and it also helps with your colon health that I talked about yesterday. So you can also get your Vitalized Women at my purchase price just for today. Those who get it for me, they know how it goes. So I'll round up now. Another thing you need to do is to reduce stress. Stress negatively affects your prostate.